Hello and welcome to the Upper Hand Trader channel here. David speaking. I'm gonna quickly go through the stock indices here. I'm gonna check NASDAQ, Dow and S&P. They all look very similar right now. Then FTSE and the DAX. Again, stocks have been moving down. The trend is very similar on all of them, so I'll be a bit, if I look at every single one of them, I'll be very repetitive, but I'll go through them quickly and show you what I think are the best opportunities right now. Today, markets recovered a little bit on both in Europe and the US. We can see this is the NASDAQ. It made a nice recovery today. It's testing the 200 EMA on the 1 hour chart right now. But overall, it looks very bearish still. As you can see here, starting from the higher time frame to the lower, this is the monthly stochastic. It's all the way below 20, pointing down with power. Same for weekly. The daily, even if this whole move today has barely made any change up, we have an H1 that is getting over bought now, and an H4 that is moving up with some power because the move we had today, but these were not enough to disturb the higher time frame, the stochastic, and that's what we look in stochastics. Usually the smaller time frames will form the larger time frames movement, so when they move up, if it's significantly overall, they're going to disturb this up more than they have done here. So that's why I think this is just smoke and mirrors for another push down. What would I be looking for here? Right now, if we look at the NASDAQ, the Dow, which is here, similar, but the Dow, on the Dow, the monthly has more room to go because it's not yet oversold. On the S&P, similar situation to the Dow. So they are pretty similar, and they have room to go, especially on the monthly here, especially the Dow and the S&P. Now, the move today went back to the highs of Friday, so not a bad move. But again, it hasn't really disturbed the daily here, or the weekly, or the monthly. So I'm looking tomorrow if this market, I mean, if H4 gets to the top here, is even better. And taking trades where the H1 is crossing the H4 down and sort of turning it. Let me give an example from the past here. This is H1, this is H1, you can see H4. This was a similar situation. We were actually very similar in terms of stochastic positions. With daily, weekly, and monthly, they were all over sold at this point here as well. We can go up here and see. You can see here's the daily, was oversold there. The weekly was oversold there. So similar situation, just a few days later. For these stochastics to move up, these two most likely will have to come down to get them. Let's put it that way, to fetch them and help them up. So while H1 is up here, it's not going to drag this daily all the way up. It has to do a few cycles down and then up, that will slowly start bringing these other ones up. So that's how the stochastics work, multi-time frame. So I was talking about this situation. You see, the H1 here, at this point it crossed, sort of turned and crossed the H4. So it was building the H4 in the direction of the higher time frames that were oversold. So this was a great trade opportunity short. Here, it was similarly went overbought, but the H4 wasn't as high as it was here. So if you were going to wait for H4 to cross it, you would have to enter around here. Then you have both stochastics very low, so your potential for movement for gain is much smaller. A situation like this is much better, where you have room on both the stochastics, room to move down towards the higher time frames. And this is what could be setting up here right now. Obviously, we have to watch the market and see if that happens. We don't have any time frames with very spreaded lines, which is makes up for safe early entry. Let's put it this way. So in a situation like this, we really have to wait for that cross and a cross that is changing the shape of the H4. But I really believe this market has more room to go down as it stands. For as long as we are below this low here, I think on H4 and H1 we're likely going down. Obviously for daily, the trend changing level is very different, but that's not the situation right now. Right now we're looking for these trades H4 and H1 to move towards the daily and the weekly, and this is the same for all of these. Now the FTSE is slightly different, because you can see the monthly is much higher up, but it's moving down as well with power. So this probably, what does it mean? It means the monthly has more room to go. So a trade here on the FTSE would be even more potentially be a better trade. And you can see also the daily is pointing down and moving down. Even the open candle is down. It's not very spreaded. It's looking like as this H1 crosses this H4 here, we're going to see further down movement here on the FTSE. And the DAX looks more like the US stocks with the monthly all the way down. But again, H1 oversold, H4 getting there as well. So tomorrow, as I see it, probably we're going to have a sell-off day with that H1 crossing the H4. Just move here, so they swapped. Like we saw in this case here, like we saw to a small extent in this case here, like we saw in like we saw on this situation here, where H4 was up, H1 crossed it down, and the price followed. So that's my take for now on this. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like the channel, subscribe, and I'll be talking more and more about how to trade these multi-time frame stochastics. Thank you.